Welcome, dear friends, to this second lesson on cash flow. We previously talked about how to earn money, and hopefully we learned a great deal on the same. So it's now prudent that we move on to the second step. We all know that human needs are insatiable. We shall hardly earn enough money for all our needs because our needs keep growing. A quick check in your background will reveal that your needs last 5 years are not your needs today. When we didn't have a car, I wanted one. Today, I want a bigger one, partly because my family has grown bigger. The same goes with the house. Some things were a dream to me years back. Today, I have a new list of things I dream about. Also, we have come to know that the more we earn, the more responsibilities we have. The more the mouths we have to feed, and thus the more we need to earn. It's natural growth, and no mistake about that. Nature expects us to grow and expand. A tree grows naturally. Our physical growth is also natural, but growth in other aspects of our lives must be deliberate and purposed. We must work on them. That applies to our capacity to earn. So, how do we earn more? How do we increase our income? That is the second lesson on cash flow, our lesson for today. We have learned to earn. We now want to improve our earnings. Well, some people go and ask for a salary increment in order to earn more. Others operate longer hours, etc. But what really makes us earn more? Answer is, we must increase our capacity to earn. With less capacity, we can only earn less. Less for less. More for more. You're probably familiar with the biblical story of a master who was going on a long journey for many days and chose to invest some money with his servants, and they were called talents. One, he gave 5 talents, and to another he gave 2, and yet to a third one he chose to give only 1. How did he choose to give 1 talent to one of them, and to another 3, and to another 5? We might think it's unfair. Was he unfair in his distribution? No, not at all. He was right. The Bible says each according to his ability. Yes, that's the answer. Each according to his ability. So what must we do? We must increase our abilities. We must increase our capacity to handle more, to earn more. We must improve in skills, in attitude, in understanding. We must learn to grow in order to grow our income. Again, a certain young man was employed at a certain amount of weekly wage. He was diligent, respectful, and honest. 5 years later, his wage was still the same. Another was then employed, and within just 1 year, his wage was almost 50% higher. Concerned about this, the first employee, the person who was employed initially, questioned why the discrepancy, to which his employer told him point blank that his output has not gone up for the last 5 years. He is good, is diligent, respectful, but output is constant. He chose to spend more hours, but realized that the output was still the same. When he chose to ask the other guy how his output went up, he realized that the guy never ceased learning, reading, sharpening his axe, his skills. That's the way to increase our capacity to earn. I registered my ICT organization in 2009, and even now I keep reading and learning about ICT, providing web hosting and domain registration services, email support services, in order that I may improve the quality, reliability, and the experience that my customers have. That way, I can better serve more customers, which translates to increment in earnings. I started learning about health and nutrition in 2009. I still keep learning and growing in this field. That has kept me looking younger than I really am. It's fantastic. I started offering talks and trainings on soft skills, business skills, leadership, and the likes. That was back in 2003. And to date, I keep studying and practicing my philosophy in order to grow. Now, last year, I was offering consultation for one of my clients who is a senior lecturer in one of our public universities. And she is at a senior management position. She told me that whatever I'm teaching her is what she ought to be teaching me, because she surely ought to know it better, having attained PhD in strategic business management. But she exclaimed that I have a more practical approach than what they study in theory. Again, I was talking about emotional intelligence and leadership to a certain PhD student, and he was wondering how I get to know all this. Now you know. It's a result of continuous, ceaseless studies and practice. We must work harder on ourselves and increase our value in the marketplace. Then the market will reward us. This is more than technical. It's all the necessary skills put together, and we must include our teams in the learning. The team must be properly equipped and inspired. The team gets better. When the team gets better, you get better. And so your development is closely related also to how your team grows. If we sow sparingly, we reap sparingly. If we sow bountifully, we reap bountifully. We can only sow bountifully if we have the capacity to do so. Someone asked, how do you become great? Answer, by serving more people, by having higher value in the marketplace in order to serve more, serving more customers. An employee serves the employer, that is one customer. The employer, on the other hand, serves more people because through his or her employees, more customers are served. Thanks for tuning in. We shall continue from there. Having captured just part 1 of this question, we have yet the second part, which will come in our next discussion. I remain yours truly, Otieno Paul Peter, author of Live Your Dream in 7 Ds and The Making of a Symphony Orchestra, which is a leadership book. I am the founder of Live Your Dream Enterprises Limited, which provides talks, trainings, and team building services. Get in touch with us through our available contacts. Live your dream.